week post-op. Yep, 1 week after the surgery, 1 week ago today, they cut me open. Oh, let me stop that. No, they didn't. I had a friend who said, so they gut you like a fish. But no, I'd be a big fish to gut. But yes, this is 1 week later. I started this process at 383 pounds. As of this morning, I was down to 360 pounds. So that means that I've lost 23 pounds in 20 days, which is pretty good. My doctors say that I can expect to lose about a pound a day, which I think is pretty good too. And I'm starting to see some things around my stomach with skin not quite as tight as it was. So progress is being made, and that's a good thing. It's always encouraging. I'm trying to stay active without overdoing things. I realize that being active will help my recovery as long as I don't overdo it. So that's one thing they really caution you against. Some of the instructions explicitly say, do not start exercising again until you have been cleared by your doctors, no matter how you feel. So I'm going to take that to heart, and I'm not going to exercise, but I am going to stay active. I am going to move around because, to be honest with you, I feel better doing that. I've noticed that the soreness has been every day, every morning. I feel a marked reduction in soreness if I've been active the day before that. So I'm continuing to do that. I'm not really in any pain. When they released me from the hospital, they asked me if I wanted a subscription for some pain medication. I told them yeah, but then I didn't go back and get it because I don't know. I just have a thing about taking pain medication, okay? I don't know if the pain medication is opioid based. I don't know what it is. But I just feel that, if it gets to the point where I'm really, really in pain, then I'll go back and see the doctor. But so far, I haven't had any pain, knock on wood, thank the maker. I've been fairly comfortable, just a little bit of soreness around the site that they used on my side where they pulled out my stomach. And that's where they say most people have their soreness, because that site is a little bit larger. And my surgeon told me that he actually, in closing that up, he sutured it to the underlying muscle. So, Lord have mercy, because whenever I have to cough or sneeze, it comes immediately to mind. But hey, that's part of the things. If you cough or you sneeze, I haven't broken any stitches loose or anything. So I'm doing all right. I'm real encouraged by the way things are going. Like I said, I'm not exercising, but I'm doing things around the house, which helps. Yesterday I put up our Christmas tree. Felt good about that because it's an 8-foot tree, artificial tree. It's not the lightest tree, but I was smart with the way I handled the pieces, and so I got that done. I also straightened up my office a little bit, which really made my wife very happy with me. And also I started a new AeroGuard, one of those little hydroponic AeroGuard things that sits on your desk or whatever, and the light comes on and they circulate water. If you like food, there's nothing like fresh herbs when you're cooking, and I started a new herb garden. So I did that yesterday, and so I feel pretty good about that. I'm still on the liquid diet, and my cravings for something savory are at times going crazy. You like to have something savory. I'm using the Premier Protein shakes. I also have a whey protein that I bought to make my own shakes, but I figured the Premier are good enough. I'm paying a close attention to my protein intake, and as we said before, that's very important, because as you're losing weight, you don't want to lose muscle mass, and so keeping that protein up helps to keep your muscles strong. And so, that's very important, and they talk about that all the time. So I'm trying to do that with the Premier Shakes, the protein drink, and also with the Greek yogurt, which I got, which is fairly high in protein also. So I'm keeping up with that. Holiday food this time of year, this is December, holiday food is everywhere, on television, on the internet, and they're trying to make things look as delicious as they can, and they are succeeding. So it's everywhere, and it's hard to try to develop a new lifestyle with that type of external pressure. It really is. The VSG operation is a tool, okay? It is a tool that helps you to make that lifestyle change, because you have to change your eating habits. You cannot eat the same way. And by eating habits, I mean you can't gulp your food anymore. One of my dietitians said that one of the things that men tend to do is they may go a long time without drinking any water, and then when they do want water, they'll drink it all down at one time, to try to make up for the time that they didn't drink water. Guilty. That I'm one that did that. When what they really should be doing is drinking along the way all through the day. Well, with this VSG surgery, I have a small pouch. I don't have my stomach anymore, so I can't drink down a whole bottle of water like I used to. I'm going to have to sip a little at a time. And so it becomes real important that you keep that fluid intake up, not just me, but anyone, because you're not getting the same amount of fluids that you're in from your food as you normally would. So, for instance, I still have some medicines that I have to take. I still take like lisinopril and metoprolol. I have metoprolol because as not a subsequence, but going through this process, in one of my examinations, it was found out that I actually had atrial fibrillation, AFib, which is basically your heart is not beating right. The instead of beating, here's the top of your heart, here's the bottom, instead of beating like this in rhythm, the top of my heart was just kind of quivering, and the bottom part was trying to keep up to keep the blood flowing. So if the bottom part of my heart stopped moving, I'm through. So I had back in August, I had a procedure called a cardioversion, which is basically they shock the heart, it resets itself, and goes back into a normal heartbeat. Well, that worked. And since then, thank goodness, I had another EKG right before my surgery, and the heart's still beating normally. But as a precaution, they have me taking metoprolol, which kind of helps the heart to relax and operate the way it beat the way it's supposed to. But those medicines, they also said that I should go back to taking the melatonin that I started taking before the surgery to help me to sleep a proper amount of hours over the night. So those are 3 pills. Well, remember, they tell you not to eat I can't have solid food. So what am I going to do with 3 pills? Well, basically I crush them. I put them in a napkin, take the old meat mallet, crush them, mix them in with my Greek yogurt, or with some unsweetened applesauce. I mix them in with that. And that was where I really noticed how much less I can hold. If you're drinking and you're sipping, the water's kind of moving through all the time. But when you put in something like yogurt or the applesauce, it gets there to the stomach and it sits for a second. And that was when it finally hit me that I was full after, almost only about 4 ounces of this stuff. I was full, really full. And it was a strange feel. I mean, you feel just full and nothing weird, but to only eat that amount. I've been a big eater all my life, but to only eat that amount and feel full, it was strange, but it was also made it feel like, yeah, maybe this was worth it, because if this is all I can eat at a meal, yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to make better choices and a lot easier to not overeat later on. So I was pretty happy about that. So that was another positive that I've had. Another big positive that I've had, and this is another reason why, at least on my insurance plan, you had to part of your process getting to the surgery was you had to not only meet with your general practitioner, you also had to meet with a dietitian, and you had to meet with for lack of a better term, a behavioral psychologist. Basically, they want to make sure that you don't have any underlying mental or social conditions that would cause you to eat uncontrollably, not binge eating and things of that sort. So in meeting with them, I realized how important it is to have a good support system around you. And I got to tell you, my family has been so supportive through this whole thing. My wife, there's no better woman on the planet. She's been there with me. She's a little overprotective, but that's okay. Sometimes she protects me from myself, so I really appreciate that. But having that circle around me is a big help. And one of the things I would suggest to anyone is there's a certain type of shame that goes with obesity that should not be there, but that shame that some people feel kind of keeps them from asking for help, keeps them from asking for support. The best thing you can do is to get somebody on your side. The best thing you can have is somebody in your corner rooting for you, saying that, it's okay, you're going to be okay. They kind of know what you're supposed to be doing, so they help out. So that's one of the big things you can do. So that's kind of where things are for me right now. I have a meeting, an appointment with my doctor on Monday. It's my post-op visit, and hopefully, if everything goes well, he will okay me to go to soft foods, which is the next step. Soft foods, that's great. Things like vegetables that are cooked until they're soft, beans cooked until they're soft, and then pureed, soft scrambled eggs. And another interesting thing he mentioned was soft-fleshed fishes. Soft-fleshed fish, like tilapia. If you broil it, it gets soft when it's done. And of course, those will also have to be pureed, at least at the beginning. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll let you know how things go. And till then, fingers crossed.